to 2 on 1,
where me and Lauren sit down and talk to the filmmakers about their new and upcoming films.
and we're here with 2 men. Introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, I am Jack Gattanella. I am the writer and director of the feature film Green Eyes.
Hi, I'm Thomas Wesson. I play the lead, Nick, in Green Eyes.
Thanks.
And it's a coincidence that I actually have green eyes.
Yeah, how about that? Or
Yeah.
off-green hazel eyes.
Okay, I was like, is the movie about him? What's going on?
No, it's green on my left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jack, tell us. I believe you brought a trailer, right? You brought a
Yes,
trailer.
that's right. I brought you the theatrical trailer.
Very cool. So tell everybody what they're about to see, what the trailer's about.
Well, the trailer is about a young man, Nick, played by Tom here, and he gets into a relationship with this girl, Ingrid, played by Audrey Lorray.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of the film, we see his relationship with her, and also his relationship that he had with another girl, Jamie, played by Daja Kittredge.
Very cool. Okay, you ready to watch it, Lauren?
Yes, very excited.
Ask Rennie's boy Nick to nickel over to us. A couple dimes would be best.
Nick, is it?
Look at you. You're a glowworm. Did you do something to yourself?
Sorry, I forgot my cell phone.
Maybe there's a guy.
Is this where you tell me I'll be sent away for the other night?
One thing you should know about me, I'm not exactly one of those girls that goes home and tells her parents everything about her day. Who's she?
Ask me again some other time.
I love you. You're Nick in here, and I give you another chance. And you know why? Because I thought you still think.
I just wanted to crawl into a hole and just not talk to anyone for a long time.
You listen to your feet more than your brain?
I just like a rush in me most nights. It's hard to explain.
Look, I think you know too, in a way, maybe in a parallel way.
What does that mean?
She loved this man. That's it. She was a loving sort of person.
All right, I've wished for 5 fucking weeks that I was the one in that car.
Look, you can get past this. You can move on.
And poof, she's gone. Just like that.
That's very cool. So
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember being there.
you remember being there. So tell us a little about the production side. How long were you guys filming for?
Well, I started what you call pre-production probably early 2011. That's sort of when I began the process of putting together the cast and putting together the crew and the locations and all that. And from pre-production until the end of shooting, that was about a year. We kind of shot on and off for about 18 days in the fall of that year. And then it was about another year for post-production. And the editing process actually didn't really take that long, but a part of it was kind of just making sure that the music was all right, that the score was put together just right, and that all the songs worked together. And we had our premiere last March at the Queens World Film Festival.
Very cool, very cool.
I really actually like the music in the trailer. Was that all original?
Oh, thanks.
Score?
Yeah, I think one song, the sort of bluesier song that we used, was one of these kind of tracks that you can get sort of for free or very cheaply, and that wasn't in the film. But then the second song is actually a song from the film, this track called The White Tree by Chris Strange. And he actually has a number of songs in the film, and was really great to work with him.
So right now, what's the next step for the film? Where is it going now?
Well, right now, well, immediately our next step is we're having a screening on March 5th, the night of March 5th at the Anthology Film Archives in Manhattan. It's a very great theater. It's been there for a really long time, kind of like a hub for, independent filmmakers in the city. And that's part of this, what they call a new filmmakers series. So we'll be screening there that night. And then after that, we're trying to just get it out there to more festivals and, find a place for it, distribution terms. And, we'll probably see it online, or hopefully we're, try to get into theaters.
Very cool. Very cool.
Great. And so, what was the story inspired by? Is there some?
I think there was a time. This is going back a lot of years when I wrote the first draft of the script. I just wanted to explore sort of these ideas about how, like, as young people, kind of that I knew when I was in my younger 20s, that get lost in things like drugs and sort of their own passions and sex, as you could say, and don't really give a crap, but they have to at some point face up to the fact that I need to do something with my life. I need to do something with this relationship. Do I keep screwing up in this way? And so I just wanted to explore those ideas with these characters, and it wasn't based on anything specific, but the kind of mood and some of the people in it are inspired by sort of people that I knew and places that I had kind of hung out with and parties and things like that. And so I just kind of put it in script form, and actually for a while stepped away from it for a while. I wrote the first draft almost going back like 9 or 10 years ago, something crazy like that. And then I put it away and I went and did some short films just to try to teach myself how to make movies, to start out small and kind of grow from there. And then I made a couple of short films. Specifically, I met the actress that's in the movie, Audrey LeRae, and I just kept thinking back to Green Eyes and thought that she would be just great for the role of Ingrid. And I went back, did a couple of major rewrites, and decided, what, I can do this on a pretty low budget. Do it myself, get my people I know together, and just go and do it. And that's kind of, how it got started.
So the next question I have is, were you guys friends before? Did you guys know each other? Or did you put out a casting?
Yeah, why don't you talk about
Yeah,
this?
sure. No, I did not know Jack previously.
Okay.
However, I did a comedy show somewhere in Midtown, just doing sketches and monologues. And our mutual friend, Alex Valderrama, was filming it.
You know Alex.
You know Alex.
Yeah.
Alex has been here.
Yeah, he was filming it, and he said, "Dude, you were great. You might be right for this role that my friend is doing. Can we get in touch?" So he put me in touch with Jack. We met for coffee, and we talked about the movie.
That's right.
And then I auditioned. And I remember doing the read with Audrey, and immediately there was some chemistry there right away.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sometimes in an audition, like, you either, you might feel it a little bit and you think, all right, maybe if I cast this person, I can work with them. And then there are other times where it just clicks like that and you just know right away. And even before the audition, when I first sat down and met with you, I was like, this guy is kind of interesting. I think that, there are certain, well, no, sometimes you meet an actor, and I think I've heard other directors talk about this, and I think there's something to it, where if you can sense kind of an intelligence in them, like a certain, that they will know how to get this, or will find a way to somehow get it out of themselves. And that was something I kind of just got kind of right away, and saw something, and I knew that I could find that we could explore the character and these characters in a way that would be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I really saw a lot in Nick of a role I had done previously. I was the lead in another indie feature called Drown, And that too was about a young guy in his 20s in New York trying to find his way with career, with his relationships, and does he make a decision to make his life better? And at what point is that the last straw, and do I move on and do something else? So then Green Eyes comes along, and I immediately knew what Jack was talking about. I just wrapped on that movie, and I was like, no, I get this. I was just doing this, and so kind of back to back.
You're doing that, but different.
Oh, this had there was more of a drug element to it. Oh. Drown had more about career, and it was more about a party that went wrong. But this was very interesting because it was actually more suburban. It wasn't central Manhattan or Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of locations in New York that we shot in. Actually, I think your first day was in Queens, but for the most part, in keeping with the material and the script I had written, sometimes, like, not all the time, but when this script in particular, it was early on when I was really first starting to write, and sometimes it was helpful to me to picture things in places that I knew. And so actually a lot of the locations were literally just like right down the block from where I lived, and one of the locations was in my house, but so it in a way I kind of look at it as like a slightly New York but also suburban Jersey feel to the movie.
Cool. I have a question.
Sure.
So you said you talked about making shorts to sort of learn and discover more about the filmmaking process, and so you're self-taught in that?
Well, no, I went to college it wasn't really a film program specifically. It was a communications program that had a film department. So I learned some of the craft of filmmaking there. I learned some of the basics of screenwriting, like, you put this here and not like this, so it didn't look like total jumble. But I think a lot of but the thing was, in the school, they didn't really teach you some of the real particulars, like, what do you do when you have only, like, X amount of time left in a day to shoot? What do you do when you have this actor that can't come in on the day and you have to shuffle around your schedule and do things like that? They were more like, you put a light here and an actor here, and that's it. So sometimes
the movie is made.
Yeah, well,
that's all it takes. Sure.
it's like magic, kids.
Do you have any advice for aspiring filmmakers?
Yeah. I think, for me, when I was first starting out, I almost didn't know what I was doing, and sometimes it sounds like a cliche, but that's sometimes the best way to go about it. You just try to get any kind of equipment you can and just shoot something. Even if it doesn't turn out quite the way that you totally want it to, just try to find your voice. Because I think that part of, with filmmaking for me when I was in college, and then to a certain extent when I started making films outside of it on my own, was you can learn a lot about craft, you can learn about where to put the camera and where to put your actors, but if you don't really have something to say, then, what are you doing? So I think that that's something really important, that, just try to find, what you're interested in and how you want to express it. And then from there, then maybe you could start to develop, your art in that way.
Yeah, and I like what Jack was saying about that. You just got to go do it. Like, if you have an idea, you could film it on iPhones, but you got to find a way to put your craft into practice, and practice on the job. The best way to learn is by doing. And you shouldn't let things like budget, equipment, even scheduling, stand in your way. It took us a long time to film this movie, but we got it done. And the persistence that it took to finish it, it's really admirable.
Yeah, no, there were certain days or nights where I would just kind of look at how things are going, and it was like, oh God, what am I going to do this right? It was and sometimes you end up being at the mercy of the elements. We actually were delayed a little bit because of not one but two major storms. This was before Sandy too. This was back when there were two different storms that happened, and
there's a freak snowstorm.
There was a freak snowstorm which actually happened while we were shooting, and that was kind of like, ooh, the apocalypse has happened. Yay, let's leave the set. And then the other one delayed the very start of shooting. So.
And one night it was so cold that all the batteries.
Yes.
Oh, drained out?
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
That was one of those accidents.
We got like 10 minutes out of one of the batteries,
Oh.
and we were like, well, even the backups are done. So
yeah, that was one of those nights where lessons were learned. But like I said, yeah, you just got to try to get out there and do something. Even if I've done my earliest short films. I'm probably slightly embarrassed by now, but I know that what I did from them,
you learn.
There are still things in them that I go, that wasn't bad. I actually picked up something that I can do on the next one, and from Green Eyes I picked up things that I'll do on the next project, and and also the other great thing too, if you're just starting out, you get to hopefully find people that you enjoy working with, and you can find a way to collaborate on your voice. So it's not all just you. You find people who can help you express your voice, whether they're actors or camera people or even in the sound and editing. So that's also another great thing when you're first becoming a filmmaker.
Very cool. So tell us where we can find Green Eyes? Where can we find you guys? You guys have websites? Do you have some Facebook?
Do we ever?
Oh, we're chock-a-block through this, folks.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I have. Green Eyes is made through my production company, which is Whiplash Films, and we have a website which is just whiplashfilm.com. You can also find us on Facebook under Whiplash Films, and also Green Eyes has a Facebook page. You can type in facebook.com/greeneyesfilm. You'll find us there. You can also check out on the web. We have a couple of clips on YouTube and Vimeo. If you just type in like Green Eyes Featurette or Green Eyes Scene, you'll probably find us. And especially if you go to Whiplash Films, you can find out more about our upcoming projects and screenings, and especially when Green Eyes will be out in the world.
Great.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Wait, do I get a shout out?
Yeah,
please, come on, man. You're
Where can we find you?
Tell us what's up.
Yes, now the plugs. Thomas Wesson, that's Wesson, thomaswesson.com. You can find me on IMDb, and I'm represented by Avalon Artists for TV and film. Check out my site. Tom Wesson is my Twitter. Thanks.
Okay, and last but not least, what's next, Jack? Are you just pushing Green Eyes, or are you already written and working on your next feature, or what's going on?
Yeah, no, I have a lot of projects in development. I mean, over time I've been, in the time since I wrote Green Eyes, along with making short films, I've also been writing a lot of features. So after this, I'm going to get off on the next, on my next project is a feature. And also I have another short film that I'm in the works on probably the next month or couple months, just as a way to kind of like recharge the batteries and, find, something else to work with and play with.
Yeah, I've got some things in development too.
Tell us, what are you doing?
Well, I'm doing the whole actor-writer thing now. I'm writing my own things. I have 2 short films in pre-production that I wrote, co-wrote, and I'm starring in. I wrote a full-length feature about Henry David Thoreau that's in development. Just an explosion of writing. I think I read a few good books, and it just
it's good stuff.
Yeah, well, it's kind of that philosophy of just write it, just put it on the page, just vomit your imagination on there, and pick out the gold later. Sleep on it, edit it, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And it's tended to work wonders. So I'm in production for a bunch of stuff, meeting a lot of great people, and hopefully it's that actor-writer thing I can get going with.
Well, if you guys ever need a black guy and a sassy blonde,
that's right. You know where to find us. We're here 24/7.
We always sleep on this couch.
Yeah.
We're, you're.
No, you don't
I have your number.
All right, cool. I think that does it for us, Lord. Yeah, I think we got everything we need.
Great.
Right? Yeah. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Jack, Tom, for being with us.
Thank you for the to be on the couch. This has been something I'm looking forward to.
Come true.
Guys, go check out Green Eyes. Go check out the trailer. All the links are below. All Thomas and Jack's, all their links are below too. All of them on the website. Check out the trailer. Check out their sites, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.